2. What's up, guys? It's your boy Troy Weeks Music here, and you know what time it is. It's second Sunday, so you know it's keeping it funky. I'm excited to be back, guys. Woo, another month. I want to do it more often. You know, we're gonna figure this out to make it happen. But today's an awesome day. It's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We appreciate you. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But in studio today, of course, my co-host, God's Beloved. He's almost here on his way up. And also we have Fat Belly Yellow, y'all.
What's good, y'all?
That's right. We got him in the building holding it down with us. So before we get started, guys, I got to give you an update. You know, it's been so long. It feels like forever. So I want to start out with the NYC. I want to start out with the NYC reality show, YouTube reality series that I'm a part of. The Circle NYC, sorry. It's starring a couple of five people, LGBT men, who are all mostly into like fashion, music, and entertainment, that kind of thing. It's all put together by Nunu, your boy Nunu on Instagram, and as well as on shout out to Nunu. Yes, and as well as on YouTube. Please go to the YouTube right now and subscribe. If you haven't seen it, coming up now is the episodes. Last 2 episodes are coming up in the season finale. You're going to see myself with G Groove as we do an album release party for Earth Tone, who is one of the key features on the show. So it's going to be super exciting. I'm on his album, Gourmet. Shout out to him. Actually, he was on my podcast For Yourself yesterday. So I'll talk about that in a second. But the Circle NYC season finale is coming up. The reunion's coming up. You guys get to see me perform. So shout out to them. I'm excited. There's more to come. I'm actually going to be in a short film. Nunu is doing a short film. He has YB Entertainment. I'm going to be in one of his short films. So don't go nowhere, y'all. Stay tuned to that. More to come. I want to tell you about Free Yourself is my podcast each and every Saturday, guys. I'm also interviewing people. So if you're interested in freeing yourself, let me know. I just interviewed Fat Betty Yellow was one of my interviewees. Shout out to you. Miss J. Rick was one of my interviewees recently too. Shout out to you. If you want to free yourself, please do. Come on out. Please, first of all, let me know you want to free yourself. If you want to be interviewed, I love interviewing people I know because we get a little in depth in some things in your life that you don't really know, that you don't normally talk about. Outside of that, with Free Yourself, it's been a great platform for people to be able to just connect with other people. So come free yourself, y'all. Hit me up. Free yourself. I'm definitely down to have you guys. Also, every Saturday I do a new talk show called The Homos Talk Show. Every Saturday we film, and it's released Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube, and as well as a podcast on Saturday. It's myself, who's pansexual, lesbian, transsexual man, and transsexual woman, Yuri, Chris, and Will, and myself. So shout out to my team. Shout out to Aaron for putting that vision together. And 2 more things and I'm done, I promise you. So myself, Troy Weeks and G Groove, we have a residency now at Savannah. Whoop, whoop. We had our first show last Friday, a couple days ago. So if you guys didn't get a chance to tune into that, come check it out next month. June 15th is a Saturday. We're going to be back again for our 10 to 12 open Troy Weeks and G Groove open live jam experience. And outside of that, last but not least, if you guys haven't known, I've been out in these streets in Times Square with my brother Drummond Cyborg. Shout out to you, Aaron, Drummond Cyborg. Also someone I interview for Free Yourself. We are called The Experience. You can catch us in Times Square a couple times a week, as well as on gigsalad.com. Gig salad like you eat. You guys can book us for gigs if you guys see us out there and you're interested. So yeah, outside of that, that's my update for what I got going on in my life. Before we get started, Fat Belly Yellow, first of all, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. It really feels good to be in your presence and just talking to you. I know we talked about a lot of things in a nutshell, but my friend, y'all, all the way from Texas, as well as Miss J. Zabrick, she's from Texas as well.
Oh, really? Where? Houston, Dallas.
See, y'all not rivalries, right? We're not going to start no fights, nothing like that. So we got Houston and Dallas in the building, y'all. Shout out to Houston and Dallas. Shout out to Texas. Y'all got some crazy, freaking amazing people that come from Texas to New York and make things move. Yes. And so you guys are doing an amazing job. So shout out to y'all, friends. Yes, so I met my brother Nikki as his real name. I know I call him Fat Belly. I'm so used to being a host, I call everybody by their Instagram name. But yeah, so we met a couple years ago through a friend of mine named Sean Dennis, also known as Arashi. If you look him up on Instagram.
Hey, shout out to Arashi.
Shout out to Arashi, my best friend, one of my best friends. So I met him through Arashi, and he's been an amazing spirit, an amazing soul, and been on this journey to find himself through his music and his career and all his professionalism, because he got a lot of amazing things that he's doing. So just talk a little bit bit about, as we wait for God's beloved to come in and give us his update, because I know he's almost here. Can you just give us a little background about who you are besides being from Dallas, Texas, and then moving to New York to follow your dreams? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Nikki or Nicholas, Fat Belly Yella. I took that name from inspiration from Erykah Badu. Shout out to Erykah Badu, Dallas, all the way. Southern girl. So, she's Fat Belly Bella, and I just it didn't really necessarily come from anywhere. I just was looking at her name, and I was like, Fat Belly Yella? And then I just changed my Instagram name because it was like, it was another name that I had been using for a while, Jax, which I still go by, but that's like back in the day, but I answer to it if anybody calls it. I have many names, I have many faces, I've had many looks, but so I'm a photographer. I love music. I love to sing. I dabble in the arts, so it's like I kind of do a little bit of everything. So like trying to find areas of consistency, but moved here 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. They say the third year's a charm.
I'm still here.
And I'm still here, and I'm still holding on.
Come on. Holding on. Yeah. Going on.
And, I moved up here because I love photography, and I wanted to get into the industry up here. And I've had, like, a lot of really amazing opportunities. Missed out on some stuff. I mean, that's part of life. You miss out. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. But I'm grateful to still be here after 3 years, because I know some people have just left, like they couldn't take it anymore, whether it was the energy or whatever the situation was when they came up here. I'm like, no, I'm going to stick this out. Like, whatever it is, I done had jobs and then not had a job, and I still made it through, and I had angels looking out for me.
Angels!
So it's been a really beautiful experience, and I would go through it all over again. But I'm looking forward to what's coming next. And then of course third year, and then I turned 30 this year.
Come on, are we doing something special?
So yeah, I just want to be around a whole bunch of dope ass people, and and have fun, turn up, wind down, eat some good food, and maybe twerk a little something.
Listen, how we get down. You cannot turn 30 and not do something big and major and fun.
Yeah.
So we're gonna figure this out. What day is your 30th birthday?
May 25th. It's in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's the pressure is on.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure this out, y'all.
Yeah.
You got 30. You gotta bring it in right.
I think I'm probably just gonna continue to celebrate it.
Yeah, of course. But you're turning 30. It's your first, big benchmark year outside of turning 21. So you got time to think about it. But I just, my biggest fear was being 30 and having nothing to show for it. And then I turned 30. 6 days before my 30th birthday, pretty much, almost. Or not 6 days, 4 or 5 days. My daughter was born.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a show on that day.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. Everything I ever thought. I never thought that, I would be a kid at that moment. But I was like, wow. I turned 30. And I really feel like I'm accomplishing the things I want because I'm doing shows. Right after that, I put together a band. And so I was doing the things I wanted to do that I said I wanted to do, and I was following my dreams. So
I dig it.
Please do it. You're already doing it now. So
yeah. So it's I don't know how big into astrology, anybody is, but I'm not too big into astrology. But there's something my fairy godmother told me. Shout out to my fairy godmother, Mookie. If you listening, I love you, Mookie. So he mentioned what's called a Saturn return, and that's the last 3 years of your 20s before you turn 30, 27 to 30. You're in a mode of reflection and in introspection, trying to figure out, okay, what have I done through my 20s? What am I going to do from 27 to 30? And then that whole period, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do next? And I was in a state of panic, and then cool stuff would happen. And then I'd be like, okay, what am I doing? And then, be like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it's kind of that whole progression from 27 to 30. It's those years are going to make you and break you. And it's just, you have to take, that step and okay, if you get broken, what you gonna do to fix it? So, you recognize that phenomenon, and then, what is your resolution for it? So.
Listen, those are some gems. You sound like you're getting older and wiser.
Yeah, well, I ain't seen no gray hair yet.
Child. They come. Don't worry.
It'll be there.
They'll
be
come,
there.
and they'll be in places you never
One
thought
day
of.
I'll be like,
No, I'm telling you, don't worry, but don't rush them. They'll come.
I want them in my beard.
Listen, don't rush it. It'll come.
Okay.
Don't go down it, Silver. Don't do all that. Trust me. It will come when it needs to come. Let it be. Your hair. Speaking of hair, your hair looks amazing. I know you said you were doing some hydrogen.
Yeah, I did.
Peroxide thing. Tell me, talk to this.
Okay, so like, I didn't want to like go actually put up like a box in my hair or any of that other stuff, and I don't want to put any chemicals that are too harsh on my hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked online and I saw this shit, and it was like, you mix 3% hydrogen peroxide and you mix it with baking soda, so it has something to hold on to. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's not just on your hair. And then I went a little step further and I mixed some cinnamon with it, some olive oil, some honey, mm-hmm. and I would sit in my hair for about an hour, and then it'll get a little bit lighter, and then I would just kind of like take it up, and then every few months I would try to take it up, and then like it was a combination of that, and then like if I'm in the sun, it's going to sun bleach. So I would just do that, and then it just create a nice ombre effect. As it grows out and I do another rinse, then it comes lighter.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, see, I can definitely see it. I'm like, I've been seeing you for the last couple months, but I ain't never seen this. I'm like, what? Oh, you just changed your hair color overnight, and you actually didn't do it overnight. It was a process. Yeah, Oh, woo! You just said a word right there. Just the word process by itself. Yeah, definitely. That's why I was like, that's what I was amazed about. So I was like, somebody else might want to do something like this. I know guys will ever like saw, natural, healthy things. Mm-hmm. There was no GMO and mm-hmm. All those kind of things. So at the end of the day, I know like he would be all for it. That's why I was like, check this hair out. What has been your biggest challenge here, like in these 3 years? Like the biggest challenge for you, like and like. Not make you want to walk away, because I know that it could be hard for somebody out there listening who wants to move to New York, who may be like, I don't know, like it sounds like it's too good to be true. I don't know, like they need to know there's a good and the bad to it all. But what has been your biggest challenge?
I guess the biggest challenge was the whole thing with employment. And I mean, like, the whole process of it, like, from either, because when I first got here, I was working a part-time job. I was working at Gap in Times Square. Mm-hmm. And
right there, right on the corner?
Right before they built the new one.
Oh, okay.
So it was something else. And then transitioning from that into a full-time job, was working in a full-time studio, for a photo studio, and was my first job that had benefits and all that other stuff. But then it was a poor work-life balance, and then it's like, what am I doing this for? What's the meaning of this? Right. And then just kind of like introspecting while at that job. Okay, I'm here for experience, and all this is going to look good on the resume, and thinking of all the different ways of like, okay, I can really use this job in front of me. And then when I'm doing like, I've done some side e-commerce photography gigs with a couple of brands, Pazzle Mode, Romeo Hunt, and just like doing the e-commerce for their website and taking what I learned at that past job and like, I'm totally using this again. And so it's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Mm-hmm. And then being able to use those skills that you don't necessarily think you would need in the future. I'm still using stuff that I learned in retail, so it's kind of like you are able to, because I did some styling too, so it's like you're also able to take all of that and apply it to the stuff that you want to do, and you make those experience how you want to use them. So like that's kind of like where you come from there. So like you're not necessarily going to start doing everything you want when you move out here. You're going to feel like sometimes you might feel like, oh, this is bullshit, and like, what am I doing this for? And it's like, you're going to use it eventually. Just don't rush the process. You have to trust the process. That has been told to me several times. And if I could go back and tell myself when I was much younger, like just, through all the other things, that took a process to go through, mm-hmm. I would go back and I would tell myself, like, just trust the process, but be proactive. Don't wait for stuff to fall out of the sky, because I've done that and I've got caught in that trap. And I think that I think cotton. Wow. I got cotton in that trap. Stay in school, kids. I've gotten stuck in that trap and of that, and it's kind of like, okay, all right, come back. Like you still have to be proactive. You have to take initiative in the stuff that you want to do, until you're able to do that which you want to do, and you're able to get booked off of it and get paid. And
right.
So, like, just trust that process. Yep.
Trust the process, as the foreigners would say.
Well.
Yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is Keeping It Funky with Troy Weeks Music. In the studio right now, we have my boy, Fat Belly Yella.
Hey.
It was just, giving us a little insight about who he is. I do want to get into some Mother's Day stuff, before, but I won't try to wait for guys beloved to get here. Outside of that, I want to ask you something. There's a segment I called Hot on Your Head. And there is something, if there's something that is on your mind, because I know people don't get a chance to really talk about things sometimes besides Twitter fingers on, being able to just talk about it on Instagram or Facebook, but I want to give you the platform to talk about it. So is there anything that's hot on your mind, that situation, anything that pops in your head like, man, you know what, this is one thing I want to talk about, and I want to get somebody's opinion. I want to know what somebody else thinks. It might, no matter how big or how small it is. If it's been on your mind and you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Let me see. I guess like the only thing that's on my mind right now is I do not get caught up in anything that people are talking about, because I'm just like, I'm gonna just sit back and watch y'all talk about it. I ain't gonna say nothing. I don't have an opinion. The whole Aisha Curry thing.
Talk about it.
That's Steph Curry's wife.
Steph Curry's wife,
yeah. And so she did these interviews with did that interview series with Jada Pinkett, Red Table Talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I haven't been watching that, but I've kind of been watching from afar, and it's like, oh, she did this person this week. Oh, she did this person this week. And so just kind of when she was talking about how her husband gets attention from all these other women, and then she was talking about how she doesn't get much attention, the same type of attention that her husband gets. And I was watching everybody either were talking mad shit about her, or they were like saying, oh, well, she's telling the truth, or her opinion is valid, her experience is valid. And I think the whole thing is that when somebody shares their experience and it's taken out of the context, because folks don't really watch all of everything, they don't read everything,
right?
Myself included. I've been guilty of it, so I'm not gonna front and act like, but I thought it was really interesting to see people take sides and then people defending both sides, and I was just like, I really thought that was interesting, just to kind of see that unfold. And then it turned into memes, and it just kind of like I thought that
I love
and
memes.
then I was like, oh, okay. And then I would see a meme and I would laugh, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get what they're talking about. So it's kind of like I've tried to take the position where I stand back and I'm like, first of all, I'm not Wendy Williams, and I don't get paid to have an opinion. So, I'm not going to have an opinion about it. But, I think it's when you talk about the whole subject of attention, it's like everybody wants attention.
Right.
Everybody wants attention. Even if you don't want to admit that you want attention, you want attention. Because, whether you say yay or nay and it draws attention, you've accomplished your mission.
But I feel like at the end of the day, first of all, we got social media. If you got social media and you're worried about how many likes you're getting, you want attention. And social media itself, when it comes to, like, for instance, Instagram, it was created as a business platform so businesses can be able to promote themselves to get their product out. So many people use it for self-validation, which is the wrong reasons why. And that's why they have all these Instagram fights about frivolous things that are not going to help pay your bills. Who cares about it? You know what I'm saying? Or they butt naked every day on Instagram, but they just have a regular 9 to 5. I'm not against anybody being butt naked if that's what your job is, if that's what you're getting paid to do. But if you're a normal 9 to 5 person, your job is to work and do what you're doing. You should not be butt naked on Instagram every day. I just don't want to. That's not your job. You're not getting paid to do it. I don't want to see it. I'm just saying. So, but what's your side in this whole Curry situation? What do you feel like overall on sides? What side do you feel?
I don't have a side. I think she expressed a valid experience, and I think from then, I think people just project either what they think, they would accept for themselves, or they'll get defensive, and and go in and say all these angry and negative things. And I'm like, okay, well, if the shoe was on your foot, like, how would you want people to react to that?
Right.
Or are you just reacting for the sake of having a reaction?
Right. Some people want their reaction. They want to, they want to hear they want to get the reaction of what people are going to say. I feel like at the end of the day, how could you compare your success and your notoriety in the world to your husband, who is a world-renowned athlete? You can't, regardless of how many pots you sell or cookbooks you make or whatever. But I know she does something like that.
Oh, she does?
She has,
I
she
didn't
does
know.
cookbooks, or
Okay.
she does cooking. She's like the Black Rachel Ray or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't think how you expect to have that same kind of success that your man has when, he's the one who got you to where you are.
Yeah.
It was his basketball skills that got you to where you are. So I
Yeah.
don't think it should be like I don't get the groupie. I think I saw a headline that said she wants male groupies or something like that. Like,
I didn't see that.
I saw a headline that said something she wants.
Did
male.
she?
I'm like,
Did
that's what
she?
said.
Did she say? She said that came out of her mouth because I didn't watch the interview. I just watched everybody. I just read the comments, and Oprah said, "Don't read the comments."
Oprah said, "Don't read the
Oprah
comments."
said, "Do not read the comments," and I just read them because I just I like seeing everybody else's perspective, and it's like I'm not. I'm not fucking her.
So it don't matter.
So it don't matter.
So it don't matter.
And then like I'm sure they probably have their own conversation. I'm sure she wouldn't just if she just got on the radio and just started talking about these things that are in the relationship. I'm like, okay, that's it. That one could question that. But if she spoke to him about it and was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk on Jada's show about this because, anytime somebody gets on Jada's show, they say everything.
Right.
They say what they're feeling or whatever. And
so you saying they sat back, had a conversation about this. She told him about this was going to happen. I'm going to say this. I just feel like instead of this facts, let me just speak facts. Instead of focusing on all the other girls who has his attention, you should just be focused on keeping his attention. Because if he's faithful to you and want to be with you as his wife, he chose you. Why are you worried about all these other girls that want him? That's going to happen. That's life. He's a basketball player on a national platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
I
gonna
mean,
want him.
all of the basketball players, like, truth be honest, like, let's be honest, like, they all have groupies.
Mhm.
Every last one of them.
They can be ugly and still have groupies. That don't mean nothing. Because
And
money can do a lot of different things for people.
It really can. It really can. So,
So at the end of the day, if somebody wants to call in, 646-690-2976, 646-690-2976. If you guys want to call in and weigh in on what we're talking about,
call us.
call us. Yeah. Also, it's Mother's Day, so if you want to shout out to your mother on our show, call in and you can shout out to your mama, and we can make it happen for you. So yes, that was hot on the head. Something that's I noticed that a lot of things are changing, and I noticed that there's some gentrification fights going on in California. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're fighting. Black people are saying like we're still here, and we ain't going nowhere, and we're fighting against it.
We're in California.
I gotta find out. I gotta look it up. But I heard this through someone else, and I was just like, wait, wow! Like I thought it was in New York. I'm like, oh, what's going on? What borough is that? Where it's going down? It's about to be serious in the city. But wow, just the thought of people fighting back against gentrification in my mind. Like, wow, what do you think about fighting back about? Because you see gentrification, you live in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
What are you? Do you feel like you need to be fighting back against it?
Yeah, but then what is actually fighting back? Like what is effective in resolving it as an issue? Resolving the issue of gentrification.
I think what they're doing is they're saying like because of the numbers are growing, and what happens is once a certain type of people move into a demographic, move into a neighborhood, the value changes. And so
the demographic and the tax bracket, because with the demographic comes the tax bracket. So it's like not only is it more Caucasian people coming in, but there's also there are some black folks in there mingled in there, but like it's majority it's Caucasian people moving up in in these areas that are low income, and then the taxes rise, everything rises because everything goes up with the taxes, and so and then it becomes of like, okay, well, what are these taxes going to, and then it everything else that snowballs after people who make more money and people of a particular race, they come in, and the things that happen after that. So it's like you have to really examine what actually takes place in gentrification, because folks be like, oh, white people are moving up here. I'm like, no, it's a little bit deeper than that. like y'all figure that out.
Do a little research.
Y'all can do some research on that.
Do
How about
research
that?
And look into where.
Go do your homework.
It's definitely a lot deeper. It's not a bad thing. If it depends on what neighborhood you live in.
Yeah.
I think that what needs to happen is you need to be involved in your neighborhood and know what's going on.
Yeah.
As a person who, that's the thing we've shied away from being involved in our community. I go to work, I go home. I don't know my neighbors. It is what it is. But I feel like if the sense of community is what's missing, that's what allows these things to happen because we don't go to the board meetings.
Yeah.
We don't show up to the things that we need to show up to.
We don't call the congressman and the Senate and all of that. We don't, are we actually doing that? Because, like, folks love to get in line and go vote. But, like, did you vote in the primaries? Did you do this? Did you do that?
Yeah, right.
And I'm not a huge political person, but, I actually went to vote this past when they did I think it was the state stuff, I think.
Recently, I think it was state.
Yeah, it was like Congress, it was state and all of that. So I went to go vote for that, and when I got there, I was just like, I'm just doing this because my grandma told me to do it, and I told her I was going to do it. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I got to the poll, and I was like, the energy here is actually pretty amazing. Just, like, see all of these people coming in here and doing this and, like believing in that they can really change something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad to say I voted this year. I didn't get no sticker.
No, come on, you ain't vote. You ain't get no sticker.
I was like, but where's my sticker though?
We ain't had no stickers at this location. You got to wait till the next one.
Yeah, we ran out.
We ran out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we keep moving, God's beloved has made it into the building.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey.
Yes, so God's beloved, welcome into the building. Happy, it's our Mother's Day edition. So we're saying
happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
I am always late, but your boy is definitely working on that. But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to everyone here who has a mom who's awesome. Of course, everybody's mom is awesome. Yeah, so
before we get started, we'll finish with what we were talking about, and then you could just give us any updates you have. It's been a month, I don't know, since last time we were here.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about right now, is gentrification and this in Southern California. I gotta find exactly where. In Southern California, they're fighting. Not Southern. I want to say that in California somewhere. I'm gonna find out where. They're fighting. Black people are fighting against gentrification. Something's going on. In regards to, I guess, because of the people who are moving in, things are changing in the neighborhoods and it's forcing a lot of them out in bigger numbers or something like that. So we were just saying, like, I just was talking about the thought of gentrification, fighting back in gentrification, just in general, the thought of having to fight back. Because I know it's not all bad, and so that's what we were talking about. Do you have anything you want to say in regards to that? I know you live in Brooklyn. It's gentrified over there. I know that's not a word I made it up,
yes,
but, let's talk about it.
Well, yeah, I do live in Brooklyn. I'm originally from Maryland, D.C. area. And when I first moved to DC in 2010, it was like, I guess, starting the process of gentrification. So I kind of got to see firsthand like all the changes that they were doing. Even the complex where I was living had for at least maybe like 5 years, maybe 5 or 6 years, have been telling their residents that they were going to be tearing the place down and building new complexes there. And like, they were going to have to leave. Everybody was getting vouchers and, they had their choice of, wherever they wanted to go, which I think is okay when you're being told that you have to leave the place that you've been living in for God knows how many years. That complex had generations. So my grandmother lived there. I don't know if my great-grandmother lived there, but I know my grandmother lived there. I had aunts who lived there. My mom lived there. I have cousins who live there. I'm like a sweaty mess, and you are recording all over the place.
You have some tissue?
Yeah. But, needless to say.
Sweating like Whitney.
I know, right, child?
I thought it was the
marathon. It was a journey trying to get here. Okay, I got off of the 2 train or the 3 train, and I did not know where I was going. I was turned all around different places.
It always happens over here.
Listen, but I made it. But yeah, so it was generations of families that had been displaced, and while I don't know if I fully agree with gentrification, I don't know that I disagree either. I think that change is inevitable, And,
Mhm.
you know, and that's with anything. And so either it may be unfortunate, you know, but you just kind of got to roll with the punches, you know?
Right.
So either you, I don't want to say conform, but you find out where you benefit from and move, you know, move that way.
Right. I totally understand and I get that. Thank you guys, beloved. Shout out to
Yeah.
you. Welcome in. So yes, that was our tidbit about, you know, justification and fighting back. I'm gonna find out where so I can get y'all the right information. I'll get you guys the information you need to find out. I'm gonna find out where so we can know what we're talking about. But I just thought the fact of just that the thought of justification and fighting back, and you know, I just thought that was interesting. So before we get moving, guys, beloved, is there anything you want to update the people on about what you got going on? Any performances, any music, any other shows?
Well, I do have a release party coming up. So
Oh, shout out to you.
shout out to me finally
Come on
after, you know, the different setbacks and obstacles. I mean, anything, I guess, easy isn't really worth having. So it's been a journey. And the 28th of June, this is May, right? Yes, next month. The 28th of June next month is the official release date. I'm throwing a release party, and the location and the time and the flyers and all the other information will be available on my IG and my Facebook, God's Beloved Universe, real soon, as well as my website, godsbeloveduniverse.com. And that thing is raggedy, by the way. I need some help. Anybody out there can help me with my website because it is a mess. Okay, I'm trying to do all of this management by myself. But yes, so look out for that treat.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Yes.
All right, guys. Again, this is Keeping It Funky with Troy Weeks Music in studio today. My co-host, God's Beloved, as well as Mr. Fat Belly Ella.
Hey.
So
Yes.
it is Mother's Day. Shout out to the moms again.
Shout out to
there.
Mama. Mama, I love you. P.O.P. Hold it down.
Yes, mama.
So mama, all of our mamas out there, we love you. So what I want to do to kick off with this is I want to talk about, you know, there's always good, there's always bad. But I want to, you know, just talk about some memories that we have with mama or grandma. You know, everybody's different. Some people didn't have mama. Some people only had grandma. So I want to start by talk about funniest moment you had with mama or grandma. We're gonna do 3 different things. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start with funniest. So I'm gonna say, so first of all, let's look at Instagram. Look at
Hey,
your
Kiana. Hey, what's up, boo?
Shout out to Kiana. She's an awesome, amazing dancer.
Dope ass dancer.
Man, y'all gotta check her out. Go to her Instagram. She's super dope. Shout out to you, girl. Right? Don't look at sad faces. You gotta get you up here into the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a
Yes,
funny
girl.
memory. I'm gonna say with my grandmother. I'm a trickster. I like being funny. I like to play tricks on people during Halloween and things like that. And so my grandmother, I had this little, it was, I don't know, probably 1988. I had this freaking spider that you press the thing, you press it and it jumps up and down like a real spider. And I slid it under her door one day. She was getting ready for work and I just kept pressing it. And eventually I heard her screaming and cussing. It was the best thing ever.
Uh-oh.
It was the best thing ever. Shouldn't have done that. Could have killed her. But it was the best thing ever.
no.
I'll never forget that. That was so funny. So, guys, beloved, you have any funny mommy or grandma stories that we could talk about online?
Jeez, I have so many. But the one that did come to my mind immediately was, y'all know that V8 juice?
Yes.
Y'all
Should
like
have
that
V8
V8 juice, don't y'all?
No, I don't drink that.
I like the V8 Splash.
The splash?
Yeah.
That's the only one.
I used
that's the
to
one that tastes
drink
like
that.
Kool-Aid.
It's got too much corn syrup in it. I'm drinking them out.
Let's not get talking about the corn syrup.
Right.
now. But so I was I don't know how old I was. I was maybe, I don't know. I was a little boy. I was a little, really little. And my great grandma had some V8 juice in the refrigerator. And God rest her soul, Bertha Taylor. She is she is resting now. But I drank that juice, and I didn't know how nasty it was. So I didn't finish it, and I put it back in the refrigerator. And I went on about my day like everything was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, David, did you drink this juice? Yes, ma'am. Well, you better get back in here and finish it. You know how I feel about finishing stuff. And I didn't want to finish that juice because it was so nasty. But my great grandmother, she beat my uncles with brooms, and it was so many other stories. So I didn't want none of that to happen to me. So I went and I drank that nasty, nasty juice. And from that day, I have never, ever had V8 juice. Ever. Ever. Any form. Splash, water, none of it. None
Could
of
have had a
it.
V8. No, I think not.
Absolutely
Not-
never. Absolutely never.
I do like tomatoes, though. I don't mind tomatoes. But that V8 juice, never, ever again.
Come on, Nikki, talk to me.
Okay,
Funny
the
story.
one story that I'm thinking about right now, because it's raining outside. So I was, I think I was in the 11th grade, and there was we had just got back from somewhere, and we lived out kind of like in the country because we were in the suburbs. And so there was like a storm coming. And so we got out of the car or whatever, and we were just looking at the clouds, and all of a sudden the clouds start moving really fast. It was a downburst, and we didn't know. So a downburst hit, and then all of a sudden there was this big whoosh of wind, and all of a sudden the rain started coming down crazy. So the next door neighbor was a girl who I went to high school with, and she had broke her foot or something. So she was trying to get out the car, and with a broke foot, and she was holding her Brahms. Brahms is a restaurant out in Dallas, is a burger place.
Oh, okay.
And so she got out, and she was like trying to I was like, Mama, I gotta go help her. And so I ran and I helped her get in the house. And so because it was like literally windy enough to blow a person down.
Oh, no.
And
You about
so-
to hold up a whole nother person. Go
Right? And so I was like, who did I think I was about to save?
ahead. Right.
So
In this
Save a hoe.
downpour.
Come on.
Captain
Okay.
Savo. So then I went, so I took her to the front door, and her mama pulled us inside. And the next thing you know, I saw my mama run out, because my mama's a tall woman, and she ran. I saw her running through the front door with the umbrella was like this, and she's like, my baby. And she grabbed my arm, and she pulled me in the house, and it was so funny because my sister was like, Mama, what if Nick blows away?
Oh.
And she ran out and came and got me. I thought that was, and I was like, I'm in the 11th grade, and my mom's still coming to rescue me.
Come on, but you better come on. Get
So yeah, I've never forgotten that. Every time there's a thunderstorm and tornado season, I always think about
That
that.
sounds like
One time
a
you could've
Dorothy
got
and
blown
Toto
away.
I could have got
experience,
blown
okay?
away. Okay.
A
All right.
four-way.
So our second on this list, the number memory, mama, grandma, when you got the memorable beating, your one beating you remember. I didn't get beat a lot growing up, but I remember this one beating my mama gave me. She did give me a beating because my mama she was always a skinny little fro lady. Shout out to my mama, I love her, but she didn't play no games. So I moved from New York to Virginia. And I was over it. Like that day, like why would I move? I come to Virginia to vacation. I don't want to live here. So I went and sat on the train tracks. Like, I'm out this piece, bro. I'm about to wait for the next train. I'm about to be out of here. And no one knew where I was. And they was looking for me. And my cousin found me on the train tracks. I know I got home. All I remember was like a movie. The windows was up. And I felt like, one of them movies when they stop from outside. And you just hear somebody getting their ass whooped. And that was me. Getting my ass whooped. I think that's the only time she ever whooped my ass. I remember. But yeah, my mama whooped my ass, boy. He ain't gonna show it, I was like 11 years old going to sit on the train tracks. I don't know where I thought I was going, but she beat the sense into me because I never ran away again to go sit on the train tracks and nothing else. So yeah, that was my whooping story. What about you guys, beloved? You got any whooping stories, or you never got whooped?
Now I know, I have, Lord Jesus, I was a bad child. Well, I was a mischievous child. I'll say that. I was, I was.
Ooh, me too.
I was very mischievous. Now let's see. Wow. Okay. So there was this. My mom wanted me to specifically walk. Now the one I had in mind to tell y'all wasn't the beating that my mom gave me, which was like the beating of all beatings. But yeah. So she wanted me to walk a specific way home. She wanted me to take the main route. She didn't want me to, I guess, walk the back road.
Mm-hmm.
I, being me, being the weird, kooky singer that I am, wanted to take the scenic route so that I could sing my way home. Because it was nothing but trees, and it was back in Maryland. It's just houses like spaced apart. You got it's kind of like like the row of houses, or I guess the residential areas back home, like it's like the blocks of New York or like downtown, but there's houses and trees and gardens, and there's so much to see, and you know, so of course I took the back road home, and when I got home, I was welcomed at the door with a hefty blow to the chest. And then I think there was another blow to the chest. Ooh. And then it was some scolding, like, you know, I told you not to walk to the blah, blah, I came looking for you. And then that's what really had did it, because she came looking for me. She wanted to pick me up. My mom actually used to, like, surprise me at work and pick me up and take me home. And, you know, but I thought I was being grown, and I just left on my own and went home. And then, you know, the final punch was, you know, those 2 hand slaps? Mm-hmm. 2 of those. And it was nothing but ringing in the ears for like, I don't know, 2-3 days maybe.
Yeah. I love a good slap when you hear it for days.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? You got any Pete stories, Nick?
Okay, so it was one time we were at my grandma's house, and we were helping her clean up. And I don't remember what I said, because like I used to say terrible things when I was a kid. And I said something real ugly to my grandma. And my mom took me in the bedroom with she went to the kitchen and she grabbed a plastic ladle, a hard plastic ladle. And she was whooping me with a back scratcher. And she broke the back scratcher on my behind.
Uh-oh.
And
so that wasn't enough, huh?
Yes. And then she used the ladle, but before that I had cut up in school. And she was whooping me, and then I was like, "Oh, that doesn't hurt." So she pulled down my pants. I said it don't hurt, and then she pulled down my pants, and she started whooping my ass again. And then I said, "It still doesn't hurt."
Oh my goodness!
No. She wore me out. Oh my God! I was like, "Why did I do that?"
That's crazy. You know what's funny? Because I actually had a similar whooping, or I guess whooping experience. Defiance. And I wasn't like outwardly defiant. So my mom at that time, she had us, you know, take our pants down, and she would beat us. She was actually whipping us with a wooden spoon. And so in my mind, I'm just like, you know, crying so that she'll think that, you know, I'm being punished, so that she'll hurt and get it over with. And she's like, this ain't hurting you. And then she takes out the belt, and then she starts with me with the belt, and then this ain't good enough. And then she get the switch, and then, you know, that was, you know, that was the truth right there. So, you know, mamas always know, okay?
You knew
they always know.
You had to go outside and get the switch. You knew it was on. Listen. When they said go outside, I hated those old southern old aunties and grandmas down south. I'll tell you, go outside and get a switch. They don't come in the house with the wrong switch. They're going to make you get another one.
Okay? Yep. No, you know that one ain't good enough. Now, you know that's going to break. Now, you know you need to go over there and get a stronger one, okay? Bend it a little bit, make sure.
That's why you get like me and turn into a sprinter. I used to run, okay? I used to run all the time until my mom got real hip to me. She would, one time, I was standing in the street, never figured, right on 144th and 8th Avenue. I guess that one time, gets caught up to her brain. And she just winged back one good one and hit me so hard. My whole soul crossed the street. My grandmother was like, "You big nose bitch."
Good Lord.
Oh, my grandmother beat her up in the street. But I never forget that I was hit so hard my soul went across the street on its own. But the last but not least before we wrap up is the memory you have, happiest memory, you know, like of mom or grandma. And I'm going to say mom and grandma. I'm going to do both because my grandmother, both my grandparents, Grandma Moody and Grandma Jenny. I'm black and Puerto Rican, so I have 2 different grandmothers. They both passed away.
Puerto Rico.
Yes, but my Puerto Rican grandmother, she, I never forget I did a reality show like American Idol, but a local show for Empire City Lucky Break 2. That's what the casino in Yonkers, and I ended up being top 3. But my grandmother's sitting there going to the show. She tried to come every week when she could, and sitting there and seeing me win and things like that. It was amazing, that moment with her. To share that moment with me because she always wanted me to follow my dreams and believe in myself, and I actually did it, but she could see it. So that was pretty awesome. And the same thing with my mom. I had a performance with a girl named Angel Ram. Shout out to Angel if you're listening.
Hey, Angel,
you're my.
She I met her at Toshi's living room. I used to be a server as well as do gigs there, and I met her there singing with her. But one day she invited me to this big, huge gala, and I invited my mom to go with me. and my mom got to see me perform and met all these amazing people, and she just fell in love with Angel and all these amazing friends of hers, and it was just awesome. She was just so happy, she couldn't believe it. And she felt like, wow, son, look at you, like you're doing it. And so I was like, wow, like she's still talking about Angel to this day, and she met her one time. So I just can't get that out of my head. So that was my Mother's Day edition for myself, my fondest memories of my mom and my grandma. God's beloved, what about you?
Oh, I have so many. Or do I? It's like, I'm just kidding, Mama. I'm just kidding, Grandma. I love you guys. I mean, I guess for my grandma, me and my family and we never really were like super, super, super tight, you know? So, it's those moments that when you get to just kind of, hey, Grandma, what's going on while she's watching TV? And, you know, you just get to talk about silly stuff or talk about what's going on in the family because Lord knows Grandma like to talk. But, you know, I would have to say maybe a couple of weeks ago when I went back home to D.C., I got to see my grandma and talk to her with my sister and, you know, just see how she was doing. She was recently in the hospital, so she's feeling a lot better. But I always enjoy and thoroughly enjoy hearing my grandmother sing. I think she has one of those, like, just timeless voices that
Bring the God. The God is in her voice.
Okay, hello. Like, as soon as she opens her mouth, the ceilings open up and God is right there. And I admire that about her. And my mom is just, she's always loving. And I guess my fondest memory, recently we got to watch, what was that movie? Was it Aquaman? No, it wasn't Aquaman. I don't know.
Avengers?
It was one of those Avengers series where Aquaman was just introduced into the franchise. But it was like a really great time. See, I don't really remember too much about the movie, but it was just a great, you know, moment, hanging with my mom and and we got to talk and actually, you know what, now that I think about it, and I know we're running short here on time, but I actually got to talk to my mom about my sexuality. I got to open up to her, and we got to come to a common grounds and just real, an understanding about my sexuality, and that was just a couple of months ago. So I would have to say that is my best memory at the moment.
Come on, God, let Wani do it.
Well, so it's kind of like I've had this with my mom and my grandma. Like a moment where like we'll be watching a movie and it'll like be an emotional part of the movie and then like we'll start crying, and like with my mom, yeah, and it was like, so my mom and I went to go see Monsters Inc. when it came out, and there's a scene, and there was a scene on there where the little baby Boo, it was something happened and she started crying, or she was like so sad or something like that. I can't remember the scene, but I remember me and my mom just busted out crying in the movie theater. We just hugged. I was like, "Oh, Mama."
That's so
cute.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that. Come on, I think it's those
little moments like that.
Those are the moments to pay for. I think that what we need to realize in life is that, you know, it's the moments that you create that count, because those moments are what keep you sane.
Absolutely.
Get old,
Amen.
go remember those moments you had with them when, you know, you spent that little time watching TV with them, or going with them to the store, or going and play bingo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I miss trips to the
Mm-hmm.
stove. I miss
Come
that.
on,
This adulting thing.
Listen.
Okay.
Yes, so it is Mother's Day. So again, to wrap things up as we leave, this is finally wrap up. You know, I just want to go and let, you know, a minute or two, you know, let you guys, you know, just speak positivity into the world about Mother's Day, mothers in general, just in life. You know, I'm going to start myself by just saying, first and foremost, that you wouldn't be here without a mama. So whoever your mama may be, just respect that and respect her for who she is. And if, you know, she hasn't been the mom she needs in your life, you know, it happens. We all have those situations, but be the adult that you need to be for yourself so that you can be able to just move on with your life. Because what's holding you back, a lot of people are being held back by the things that they hold themselves to prison to, because they don't forgive people. you got to live your life and move on, and you got to allow yourself to be free so that you can do what God called you to do in your life.
Yep.
So be free of all that negativity. Be free of those things that's been holding onto your heart. Let it go, because it ain't doing nothing but making you old fast and stressing you out. Shout out to the moms out there who are just, not real moms, not birth moms, but moms out there being mothers to people who need it. Shout out to you as well, and keep your head up because we watching. God's beloved, anything you want to say on the way out?
Absolutely. Just for all you mothers out there, especially you single mothers, stay encouraged. I know that. Well, I don't necessarily know, as I'm not a parent per se, but just from observation and from the people who I have in my life, I know that it's not easy. So just stay encouraged. And for everybody else, honor your moms, honor your parents. In general, stay true to yourself. Be as honest with yourself as possible at all times, and that's only going to bring the best out of you. And try to create experiences, positive experiences. Like, this world is so crazy, and it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier every day. And you want to be able to look back, and you want to be able to recall those great moments, those positive experiences, because that is what's going to help sustain us. In the end, as well as God, of course. Aside from that.
Amen.
Amen. Shout out to you, God's beloved. Thank you.
Yes.
And Sir Fat Belly Yella, anything you want to say on the way out?
I want to say, if speak your piece with your mother, with your parents, but with your specifically on Mother's Day with your mom. Anything that you feel you need to say it, and then try to figure out how you can make the relationship stronger. I guess, I don't know, because I think a lot of people, they haven't necessarily developed a relationship with their parent as an adult based on, things that may have, been in their childhood, or things that didn't go the way that they wanted to. But find a way to speak, if you can, find a way to speak your piece, and then try to move on from it and develop a new relationship, and, affirm one another, be empowering, just, if you can, because there's so many people out there that would love to have a relationship with their parents and their mother, and they can't because, they don't have one, or they lost her. So, like, you only get one mama, and, if you can develop a relationship with them, or at least speak your piece, do it, because tomorrow's not promised.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yes, amen to that. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much. This has been Keeping It Funky with Troy's Music with the team.
Hey. Keeping it funky, y'all.
Thank you guys. That's so dope. Thank you guys for the hearts. This is every month, second Sunday. Even on holidays, we in here. We make it move. Again, I'm Troy Weeks Music. You can check me out, Troy WWEKS Music. God's Beloved at God's Beloved Universe.
At God's Beloved Universe.
Fat Belly Yella at
Fat Belly Yella
with the A at the end.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. You guys can catch us again next month. Please stay tuned. There's a lot of things I got going on outside of this. I have, again, the podcast Free Yourself that comes out every Saturday. You guys got to go to iTunes. Go to iTunes, subscribe to Free Yourself under Dillet Media. Please leave me a 5-star review and a comment, y'all.
Do it today.
Right now.
Blues. Do it right now. What's up,
Right
B-Hawk?
Right now.
I see you, B-Hawk. I got
Yes,
to get you into the radio station.
Hey, B-Hawk.
Yes. B-Hawk is fucking killing it. Like, shout out to
Killing
my
it.
sis,
Yes.
B-Hawk. You are fucking killing it. I've been
Definitely an
inspired by you,
inspiration.
and you are inspirational, and you are beautiful, and yes.
Yes.
For
Killing
sure.
it. Maybe next month we'll get
Yes,
you in
baby.
here
Ha.
to the studio
My lord.
to give us a little twirl because you giving it and you serving
Oh,
it.
my goodness,
and that'll be
yes.
awesome. Next month, that'll be Pride Month, so you never know. We're going to have a couple people in here. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Keeping it funky with Troy Weeks Music. We got to get out of here because we got somebody else's radio show to come up in here.
Yeah.
So until next second Sunday,
Hey.
keep it funky.
Hey.
I thought we were singing. Okay.
Intro too, by the way, so stay tuned.